Welcome to this orientation for the Hazard Communication Standard Global Harmonization System. As you know, workers may be exposed to chemicals on the job site. Even something as simple as this Clorox, which may be just in the bathroom at work, could potentially pose a hazard to your workers. They may not work directly with this chemical, but if this were to spill or to leak, that might cause some problems to their health. As of June 2015, all hazardous materials must be labeled in accordance with the Global Harmonization System. In January of 2014, we began training workers in the labor force to understand the new elements that would be in these labels. The basic areas of change will be in the classification of hazards, the labeling itself, and the SDS. All these elements must be in harmony so that anywhere across the globe, a worker can pick up a chemical, read the label, read the SDS, and know potentially what dangers he or she might face. So let's focus on the labeling system for just a moment. There are single words on there that everyone should be able to pick up quickly in English. And look at it: danger, flammable, corrosive. But why English? What country do you think has the most English speakers in the world?
United States.
Okay, most people would say the United States. But think about this. China has actually the largest number of English speakers. They've got 1 billion people over there. If half of them are studying English, as many countries do, you've got 500 million people that speak English. So a person could learn a few single words, but they haven't learned the whole language of English. So that way, anywhere in the world, from the point of manufacture all the way to the point of use, a worker can pick up the label and look at it and know relatively quickly how dangerous that substance might be. Also on these labels, there would be a new system of diagrams, which we call pictograms. I'd like to take a look at this real quickly and see what kind of symbols might be on these labels. Now, these symbols can quickly convey a danger. Most often, we'll be familiar with the NFPA labels that were blue, red, and yellow, indicating health, fire, and reactivity, plus the white square indicating a special type of hazard. Now, these that you see on here are going to be more specific. So a person will look at those right away. They'll see the torso, the human head and torso with a star in there, indicating these are health hazards. So what might some of those health hazards be?
Reproductive toxicity, respiratory symptoms, target organ toxicity.
Right. What that means is that chemical could target a specific organ in someone's body and cause damage. If it's reproductive toxicity, that might be a concern to your female workers who would like to know if they're exposed to a chemical, is that going to cause problems with them to bear a child? The other symbols on here, the flame, obviously, that you see there indicates a flammable substance. The exclamation point also indicates health hazards, but they're not as toxic as the ones under the torso. Then down in the far right corner, you see the skull and crossbones. Skull and crossbones indicates that there is acute toxicity. It could be immediately dangerous to life or health. The gas cylinder indicates gas is under pressure. That does not necessarily mean anything that you would be exposed to at work, but someone around you might. If that cylinder will fall over and the valve break off, it becomes a physical hazard. The corrosion symbol indicates both types of hazards. A physical hazard is something that takes place outside your body. For example, you see here the test tube being poured onto that metal plate. That's a physical hazard. It can damage property or equipment. On the other side of that, you see the chemical being poured on the human hand, indicating permanent damage to the skin, to the muscle, to the nerves underneath the skin. So it is both a physical hazard, which takes place outside the body, and a health hazard, which applies to the body itself, either inside or on the surface. The exploding bomb is anything that can produce an explosion. Now, the flaming O often confuses people. Let's say, well, it's an oxidizer. What does that mean? An oxidizer is anything that can cause another substance to burst into flame or to explode. The skull and crossbones, of course, means that it's extremely toxic. And the one that's a little bit on the kind of funny side here, you see a dead tree and a dead fish. What do you suppose that indicates?
Environment?
Exactly. The OSHA does not require this label on all substances, but the EPA does. If there's a substance when it is leaked to the environment and cause damage, they will require this to be on there to know that toxic element has got into the environment. Now, as you look at that list there, what are some of the things that types of dangers that you might be exposed to on your work site?
Mainly the ones under the exclamation mark, which is skin sensitivity, some respiratory irritation, low-level stuff.
Right. So your workers don't mostly work with chemicals.
Right.
They're just exposed in there, or could be exposed in there where somebody else might be using those chemicals. All right. The purpose of understanding these is to look at a label right away and indicate how high a danger it might be and what kind of danger it might be. The employee has the right to know what chemicals they might be exposed to and what dangers they face, and they also have the right to know what kind of equipment that they need to wear or to use to protect themselves from these types of risks on the job. This program will help keep your workers safe and healthy on the job site, whether they work directly with chemicals or whether they just work in an area where chemicals are being used. For additional information, you can see our resources under DuPont Training that gives you the whole program either for the general industry or for workers in healthcare industry. Thank you for being part of our orientation.